Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now January 30th of 2025, and given that the Meghan Markle drama over at Netflix and everything else in between is still worsening week by week, we already know that everything going on with Love Meghan, especially after that trailer debuted weeks ago, basically her entire career is going down in flames at this point. We already know that everything to do with her overall status within Hollywood is crumbling before her very own eyes. We know that studios are beginning to turn their backs on Meghan Markle, and we have a lot more to discuss about her overall situation right now and what's really going on in the wake of the Netflix disaster. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle that I think that we could all agree on here is that she is definitely by far one of the fakest personalities in the public eye. She will use any opportunity to gain the limelight that she believes that she deserves, or to really put herself at the center of attention. We know that she did this with the LA fires by using that as a photo opportunity to basically just stand there for, like, what was it, 17 or 18 minutes or so, and then boom, she was gone. And, you know, it's like she just vanished out of thin air. She was, like, there for just a little bit and only used it as a photo op. And we already know that she used that as a reason to delay the With Love Meghan series until March 4th. Now, we already know that she's making multiple demands for that show, but what's interesting here has a lot more to do with how a lot of studios are beginning to take action against Meghan Markle, including Netflix, and everything else going on with her overall behavior is really beginning to backfire, and backfire completely on her career and her future career path. So, with Meghan Markle drama over at Netflix only getting worse as she makes a series of demands that is leading to serious division within the studio, this in turn created a domino effect for her status within the film industry, along with her significance in Hollywood. Now, one major development that is now active involves more to do with Meghan Markle getting in serious trouble yet again in light of the Netflix drama. A crucial update to the situation now involves how Meghan Markle recently got blacklisted from yet another major Hollywood studio, and surprisingly a studio in which she was working on a project for. This turned out to be Sony Pictures, where Meghan Markle was working on a project with them for a new horror film where she was going to be one of the side characters. Now, Sony recently decided to not only fire Meghan Markle from this project, but they blacklisted her entirely from working with her on any production moving forward for the future, after not only learning about her issues with Netflix internally, but also she was making a series of demands for the creativity of the new horror project, which was best described to be a competitor to Scream 7 by Spyglass and Paramount, which is due for release, by the way, in 2026. Now, Meghan was reportedly going to hold a screen time of around 18 minutes for this movie in a film that was aimed to be around 2 hours and 35 minutes long and will be announced in March of this year. She was also offered a payout of, get this, $9 million for her role. Now, Meghan Markle already, like always, blamed the Sony CEO and its many executives on misogyny, sexism, and bigotry as the reasons as to why she was let go. Another reason why Markle was blacklisted from Sony entirely is that she got very defensive over her character's demise in this movie and demanded that changes would be made for that character, or that the nature of the character's demise would be completely altered to serve better for younger audiences. Meghan is rapidly losing opportunities and roles within Hollywood as more and more studios are dropping her and her chances with film roles and dropping like dominoes. Now guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. It's not just movies, but she's also trying to learn a lot. She's actually trying to land a lot of commercial roles as well with different studios out there that handle, you know, many different commercials. She's trying to land those. They're even turning her down, and we have a lot more to talk about that. Interestingly enough, though, this is all coming in the wake of her learning that there's a good chance, we're talking like an 80% chance right now, that Netflix will not renew her contract deal beyond 2025, which, in case you guys did not know, her contract, I believe it ends in September of this year. Beyond that, everything is a mystery, but it's looking to be around 80-85% to be specific about the chances of her contract not getting renewed, since, of course, we have Greg Peters, the CEO, at least knocking some sense into the board of directors that maybe we should not work with Meghan Markle anymore after this ripple effect that is going on right now within Hollywood, where a lot of studios studios are just beginning to not want to actually work with her anymore, and how Sony, Warner Brothers, and among others like Universal and more are dropping her. So, moving onwards, some studios, however, are still willing to work with Markle. However, even they are now officially on the fence of working with her moving onwards. Since all studios work in conjunction with another through contacts, nearly all studios are fully aware about the drama happening with Markle over at Netflix, and it's creating a very big problem for the future of her career as an actress. Now guys, like I've said before, if you burn one bridge, all the other bridges are going to go down. That's basically how a lot of these Hollywood studios work, because they all know each other through contacts, and all the studios right now, they know exactly what's going on, internally speaking, over at Netflix and all the issues that Meghan Markle is creating. Now, Warner Brothers was one of the first studios to drop Meghan Markle for near similar reasons, to make matters worse. Markle also dragged politics into her argument and described to the Sony executives that she believes that she was let go based on her political views and how she expressed her issues with Donald Trump. So again, she's got to drag Trump into the equation as to why she was fired. This is not all that surprising. We know that Robert De Niro did this with Warner Brothers. We know that George Clooney did the same exact thing when he lost a lot of his roles for Ocean's 14 and the many Oceans spin-off films. We talked about this weeks and weeks ago. I don't know if you guys missed it or not, but we did talk about that. Meghan Markle, the latest icon. I would not even call her an icon. This is what the studios used to call her. They used to call her an icon, which she's not an icon at all. She is a wannabe actress. That's the best way to describe her, but they view her as such. And now it seems like they are finally beginning to realize that she's not an icon, she is a wannabe actress. That's basically what it boils down to. Alright? Now, her time on Suits was very short-lived, and she used that as leverage to a degree to get these other roles, but I digress. To make matters worse, Markle also, of course, continued to drag politics into this. She informed Sony that she believes that was another factor as to why she was blacklisted by Sony from their new major horror film that is dubbed Project Slate. So this new movie, Project Slate, it's going to be announced in March of this year. Keep your eyes open for that. It's going to be a major competitor to Scream 7, and essentially Sony's trying to really kind of get into the game with horror movies and really trying to get themselves involved as much as Paramount is with the Scream films, right? So again, I think at the same exact time, Markle was getting very much caught up in a fuss about her character's demise in this horror film. How the character was going to be killed off, basically, is what it boils down to put it in simple terms there. As well as the payout, how she was blaming politics, how she was blaming sexism, misogyny, and bigotry as the reason as to why the CEO and the executives decided to part ways with her. This is typical Meghan Markle behavior. I mean, it's like a robotic response for her. It's the same exact thing with every single scenario that happens when she gets booted from either a project or from a studio entirely. It's like the same repeat nonsense. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.